All right. Hi, everybody. How you doing? Johan and Charleston back at you with Better with Age, webcast number 6. Today's show, we have the brothers from Regina, Ryan and Chris Getzlaf. How are you guys doing today?
Excellent. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, very good. Thanks.
Anytime.
I know both of y'all boys around my age, so it is called the Better with Age podcast. Do you two feel like you're getting better with age?
I definitely feel like I'm aging. I'll tell you that for free. This quarantine's putting a toll on a guy.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, certain aspects of my life are definitely getting better with age, but obviously phased out of football. You seem to be just racking up the sacks. So as you get older, I mean, that doesn't stop for you there, Charleston.
Yeah, man. I feel like the older you get, the more like grown man strength you get. But on top of the grown man strength, you get more keen about how you do stuff and how you operate, within the sport. I find that I start to work smarter and not harder.
Yeah, that's a story of my life, man. I'm playing against 18-year-olds all the time that can skate circles around me. So it's definitely an advantage to know where to be before you need to be there.
100%.
Wise words from Charleston. Starts off the show in a very interesting, unique way. We wanted to talk about Ryan. What have you been doing this off season, or not? It's not even off season here. We have you're getting ready to go back to hockey, but it feels like an off season. I read an interesting article about you, and tell me something about chicken coops.
How did I know the chicken coop was going to come up?
Especially a Saskatchewan podcast. We want to get into chicken coops and what the
chicken
fuck
coop.
is
Yeah, no, I
had
some spare time, so me and my wife, we and the kids, we got 6 chickens, and I built a nice chicken coop in the backyard.
Nice.
Oh my goodness.
Chris,
oh yeah.
Chris, any thoughts of doing anything with gophers and squirrels around here? Anything like that you'd like to be able to build or anything?
Yeah, gophers and squirrels for sure. Yeah. See if they cannot, dig a trench in my backyard for me or something. Maybe run some lines.
Well, actually, you know what? Charleston's in that industry right now during his off season, so he can be able to help you out with some of that.
I saw that, yeah.
I don't know what it is about, us athletes, and then we just go to building stuff and just thinking we're capable of just building. Like, I've been building, like, patio furniture since this whole COVID thing started. Out of pallets, though.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you got some good-looking stuff.
Yeah, I've seen it done multiple times, and then we finally just sat down and said, let's give this a try and really see how hard it is to chop up a pallet and then start building all kind of furniture and stuff. So my teammate,
that's good.
Yeah, my teammate Mac Henry, he's built a whole like ring circus for his kids out of pallets in his backyard.
No way.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, how are you guys doing? Ryan and Chris, I want to know a little bit more about Regina. We always talk about Regina. We're talking with Eberly, and we're talking with Nate Hiltz, lead singer from the Dead South, and we're talking with Dallas Smith. We're always asking about Regina. Can you guys give me a little bit of insight about what are your experiences with Regina? How you guys been with? What are the first things you guys think about when you talk to buddies and you say, "Yeah, I'm from Regina, Saskatchewan." How does that feel?
You can go first, B.
Yeah. I mean, being down here in Southern California, a lot of smiles and stuff when you say Regina. They obviously relate it to something else all the time, and not really sure where it is. So it's I got to go through that. Once I get through that aspect, then it becomes a little bit more of a conversation. But, growing up in Regina was awesome. What a great town, and we had such a great neighborhood with all our friends, and still have 8 or 9 buddies that are as close as can be, and kind of still relate to each other all the time and try and get together when we can. So it's just a absolutely great place to be from. We had a lot growing up and enjoyed a lot of sports, and and obviously we watched the Riders, and fortunate enough that my brother was able to play for them and down the road and stay involved in that, and kind of grew the passion for football in our family even more.
Yeah. Chris, how about you growing up in Regina, then playing for, you get drafted by Hamilton, and then you get traded to the Riders. You have a pretty long career in terms of football wise anyway, playing for your hometown Riders. How's that been? How many beers did you get bought along the way, and how many beers are you still getting bought for doing that? How's that been as someone that grew up in Regina and now played for the Riders? Was that living out your dream?
Yeah, well, I'll kick it off with the beer comment. I mean, off the start when you're just getting of age, you're really scrounging for those beers,
Yeah.
But as time went on, it came easier and easier to come by those. So that was definitely a bonus. I mean, a great childhood growing up here. I mean, Ryan already brought up the neighborhood that we had and the kids that were around, and we were just always outside. So we were always playing something, mostly street hockey, I'd say was the dominant one for sure, but we definitely dipped our toes in numerous sports, and our parents really gave us the opportunity to play kind of anything that we wanted. So being multi-sport, I think really helped each of us excel in what we ended up choosing. But being able to play for the Riders, I mean, got drafted by Hamilton. I was thankful that they did that. And I mean, even though they traded me 3 months later, went from worst to first in 1 week. So that felt pretty good, and ended up winning a Grey Cup that year. So pretty lucky to come to an organization that was just kind of on the rise, and, hit a point in time where we had a really, really good run, the first several years that I was there. So
yeah,
going toe to toe with those boys in Calgary on the regular. But I mean, a dream come true, being able to play for your home team and in front of your home fans and a bunch of your friends, people you grew up with.
Yeah. So you didn't answer the question. How many beers have you gotten bought for you here? Your total in Regina? I want to know just roughly 3,000, 4,000, roughly around there. Beers bought for you in total.
But let me check my stats. I keep track of that.
You got a tally mark somewhere. Yeah. Hey, no, that kind of leads me to my next question though. I know, like, you played football. Your brother played hockey. You say you guys are multi-sport athletes. Was hockey and football your number one sport? Did you think you were the best at those sports, say in high school? Because I know for me personally, like football, I was a terrible football player in high school. Like, I sucked. I was a better wrestler than I was a football player. Oh yeah, I was terrible. I was horrible.
You sucked.
Oh yeah, I was terrible. I was a horrible football player. I had more scholarships for wrestling than I did football.
Yeah. Well, that's good in the trenches then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what about you two?
Well, I mean, I think hockey was kind of always kind of at the forefront for me. I loved baseball. I played baseball right up until I had to leave for hockey. I kind of had to make a choice at that point. When I was 16, I moved away from home to Calgary. I played in Calgary junior hockey for 4 years there. So that was kind of when I had to make my decision. But I ultimately I loved baseball too. I loved being at the field. I loved practicing. But hockey was just kind of, I think, always the true passion. And obviously, thank God I picked it. It worked out.
Good choice.
Yeah, I mean, well, for Ryan, that decision has to happen pretty young, right? Like you were talking in high school. Well, he's only mid-high school when he has to make that decision, to move to Calgary to play junior hockey, right? So, for me, hockey was first and foremost for a lot of years. And, I didn't start playing football until I was 13 years old to start with. So I had played hockey since I was 7. So I loved the game. I still play today. I mean, I still love it. But football kind of gradually took over. I had a couple bad coaches for a couple of the hockey teams I had once I started playing football, which tainted my view on it a little bit.
Easy on Dad, man.
Yeah, right. But yeah, football, throughout high school kind of took over, and I felt like I was getting better and better at it, and would continue to grow. And mostly I just enjoyed it more. I in high school, I was a good football player. I don't think that I was a better football player than I was a hockey player, but it was kind of trending that way, and I was just enjoying it more. And it was something that, I was able to make a decision to play professionally a lot later than you would have to try to make that decision playing hockey.
Oh, wow.
Hey, B, you can tell him the truth, man. He was a good hockey player. He just didn't hit his growth spurt.
Oh, man.
Back then, you had to be big to go to the WHL.
That's true. I mean, I was 5'6" when I got my driver's license.
Yikes.
a tall 5'6".
Yeah.
It was a tall 5'6". Thank you very much.
Oh, man. 5'6". That's tiny. So you felt like you were a better hockey player than your brother?
Who, me?
Are you talking to Chris?
Yeah.
Oh,
Chris.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, maybe until we were 12 years old. But and that would just be me to him. If you're comparing age group, I mean, it's not even close. Like Ryan was always like basically the best in the city when it came to his age group year after year. So I mean,
that's the joy. That's the joys of having an older brother that you're trying to be better than all the time.
Oh,
are you guys pretty,
yeah, okay, I'll take that.
Yeah.
We get the little guy syndrome where you're trying to live up to the brother and always competing, which is a nature I'm watching with my kids right now. You see my little 3-year-old is as advanced as my 7-year-old. It's incredible to watch because they just watch each other and he learns things at such a younger age.
So right now with you guys, are you guys still pretty competitive when you guys get out there on the golf course? When you're out there, who's winning? Who's competing? If you guys are over in Regina, doing something at the house at mom and dad's house, what are you guys still pretty competitive when it comes down to all aspects? Do you still try and Ryan, you beat Chris at something on the course, or what's that like?
Yeah, well, let me take that away from you.
Yeah, there it is.
I mean, when it comes to golf, it's not really a competition. Ryan's like a 1 handicap golfer. I'm about a 22. So it's really not a competition whatsoever.
That's no fair. He get more off time to play than we did at CFL.
I get to play all year round.
I
play all year round.
Yeah, he gets to play all year round, but I'm probably going to guess that I play more rounds than him. So that's really not the excuse. He's just always been supernatural at golf and, well, sports in general. And
we do compete heavily at beer darts though.
Yes.
Now you're talking my language. Now you're
that's
talking.
when the real competition starts.
Now we're gonna get.
The sad part is I didn't learn that game till I got to Saskatchewan.
Oh, so good though, right?
Well, you're welcome. Yeah. We were living in the dark in Calgary, bud.
Yeah. See.
With that, have you guys seen the video clip of Charleston on ice?
I have.
Yeah. Hey.
I'm a natural.
I mean,
kind of wish I had now.
You were scoring goals. That's all you can say, you know.
We're definitely going to send it to you, Chris. Or Ryan, we'll send it to you for you to be able to review. His skating technique is a little something to be desired, but I will give you this much. It was Charleston's first time on the ice with a helmet, stick, and a puck and gloves. And he was doing just penalty shots. And he was going up against the goalie. He did 6 of them. He hit the crossbar once. He wiped out once. And he scored once. And so it was, it was pretty impressive to say the least to be able to do that.
I wish I had a hand clap button I can.
Yeah. You get the crowd going. Huh?
Yeah, get the crowd going.
I love it.
So Charleston's future plans for his second career is he said, give me 6 months, I'm going to be a hockey player. So we want to be able to see how that's going to come to.
I'll trade places with you.
Yeah, I really. What position would you play?
I don't know. I'd try and be a quarterback, I think. I don't think I can do what you do.
Oh, man. You'd rather be the one getting hit?
Hey. I'm the one chucking it downfield, then I'll take the hit.
All right. There's one thing in football. Either you're the hammer or you're the nail.
I hear you.
Yeah. You do not want to be the nail.
Yeah, well, you can wing a football, so you got a chance there.
Oh, yeah.
But choosing the hardest position in all of professional sport is pretty tough.
Yeah.
I guarantee if I was in hockey, I'd be a left winger.
There you go.
Left
Come
winger.
play out. I'm actually looking for one right now. So
See,
Well, we had
auditions are open, bud.
We had Jordan Eberle on the show, and Charleston kind of gave a prediction about. He asked Jordan if he was going to score 100 goals in this next offseason. Ryan, what's your prediction for how you're going to do this next offseason? Coming up in a few weeks, I guess. Are you going to be back?
I think I got about 100 goals for my career right now, so I don't think I'm getting 100 goals. But I'm going to reach 50 assists again, though. I'll tell you that.
Oh,
that'd be
good. That'd be good. 50 assists. That's still accomplished. Yeah, that's definitely still accomplished.
And Chris, what do you do with what are you doing right now with your spare time? What are you doing now? You're obviously at work right now.
Yeah, I'm at the office right now.
Nice.
Which, thankfully, I've been one of the people that can continue to work throughout, obviously, the situation. It's nice that everything's starting to open back up. So our office is opening fully on the 15th.
Okay.
But still been able to work through. Other than that, since golf season's opened, I've gotten in a few rounds of that.
Yeah.
Netflix has gotten too much time, and outside of that, I've done some gaming.
I just sent out a message saying that too. I'm sick and tired of Netflix. I'm about to delete my account. I've watched everything good on Netflix, and now I'm dwindled all the way down to all these dubbed foreign movies.
Oh yeah.
Charleston's bored when.
Just a bunch of dubbed foreign movies, and I'm sick of
What's the first place, Chris, you're gonna go once the restaurants and bars are open?
Oh, good question.
What's a place
I would say probably the movie theater.
Oh yeah.
I mean, T and I love going on dates, going out for dinner, and going to a movie.
Yeah.
And that'll probably be one of the first things that we do once that's actually opened.
Oh, I see. You're
crazy.
You're a traditional romance guy, huh?
Oh yeah. Yeah, just
isn't it crazy in the world that that's like a goal now?
Yeah, to go to the movies. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Charleston, where's the first place you're going to hit up here in Regina?
I'm going to Vic's.
Straight down to it. I'm going to beer and wings, eh? I'm going to Nice.
That's it.
Nice. Well, we got a little segment now. We're just going to ask the brothers some questions and see who knows each other better. Actually, I'm going to throw in some questions for Charleston because we're going to have a little competition with the brothers. We're having the Reeves brothers on pretty soon, too. We're going to have Jordan and kind of the same thing, football, hockey combination. I wanted to try and see who knows who better and kind of get to know you guys a little bit better and do that. And, of course, Charleston, I'm going to throw out some questions at him because it's always entertaining to see his response to anything. So to be able to do that. Ryan, first question's for you. Do you know what number Chris last played with the Riders?
I assume 89. I don't think you wore it. Oh, no, you wore something else when you came back, didn't you? Shoot. That's a bad one. I should know the answer to this. I'm gonna say 89, but I think I was wrong.
You are indeed wrong. Yeah. It was 84.
That one's really tough. That one's really tough because I only played one.
I do know I'm wrong, but I don't know what
I only played one game in that sweater, so that would have been tough.
All right, well, Chris, I'll give you this one now, knowing about your brother. Your brother and
Hey, whoa.
What?
What was the answer?
84.
84.
Okay.
84.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't even say
I need to know the answer in case we have another trivia challenge.
It was 84. That's right. Okay, here we go, Chris.
Okay.
2005, 2006. Ryan played on the Portland Pirates for 17 games. What number was he?
Wow. Okay. That's good.
It's hard when you're in two separate sports like this. It's hard when you're in two separate sports like this. You got to really pay attention to your bro.
Hey, is it a problem if I don't know the answer to
that? We'll give you half a mark.
True. He might not even know.
Before I say the answer,
I have a guess, but I don't really know the answer.
All right.
Oh, crap. Okay.
Yeah,
I think I
got three different numbers in my head.
Yeah. So
I got three different numbers in my head, but I'm gonna guess 51.
Ryan, what's your guess? 9? Ryan is correct.
9. Okay.
There we go. I don't know if
That
I
was my number growing up.
I know.
God,
Man.
do you guys not watch each other play?
You
Not
don't get to
15
watch
years
AHL
ago.
games, but the Portland Pirates aren't on TV very often.
We had a great following in Portland.
I was gonna say, you know how stacked that team was too. You guys had a stacked team. It was pretty good. You guys had the early, you had Dustin Penner. You guys had Corey Prairie. You guys had a pretty good team back then. I was impressed. You guys also had like 75 players throughout the roster that year. But it was impressive. Charleston, now that you know both these guys' athletic abilities, when you become an NHL player or hit the ice here in Saskatchewan, who would you rather fight, Ryan Getzlaf or Chris Getzlaf on the ice?
Hold on, I got a series of questions first. Who weighs more?
Ryan, by far.
By far. It's about 220?
227, 228.
Oh, definitely I'm fighting Chris then.
That was a quick
As long as
decision.
it's on the ice.
Hey, he's
as long as it's
waiting.
on the ice, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, hey, you're bigger than what I thought you were. Oh,
Yeah, I'm
man.
about 6'4", 225, or 227 right now.
We'll see if we can.
That's what I played at last year.
We'll see if we can line up a charity, maybe a hockey shootout / brawl with Getzlaf in Charleston. So,
Yeah,
all right.
get me out. I used to.
I want to be the insurance agent covering that one.
Yeah.
Win-win. With Charleston's background, we want to be able to tie in this one. Ryan, who's your favorite wrestler?
Oh, geez. Favorite wrestler. You know what? It's funny. My kids just got into wrestling, and I haven't been into wrestling in years. And, like, they were throwing out names that I had no idea about. The only one they talk about all the time now is Brock Lesnar.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't even know if he's still doing it. But I grew up with, like, Bret the Hitman Hart. He was my big guy. He was part owner of our junior team back in the day. And, I met Brett a few times and stuff. So he was probably my favorite.
Nice. Chris, who's your favorite wrestler?
Shawn Michaels for sure.
Oh,
the Heartbreak Kid.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho. Yeah.
And Charleston?
Oh, you know, I like to be an evil villain scumbag, so I like Mankind and Gold Dust.
Gold Dust.
Yeah.
You like a little glitter in the game too.
Oh yeah, I love it.
I don't even know who those guys are. I'm out of it. Holy cow.
I do. That's good. We do everything. I was on page there. At least you were talking our era.
Yeah.
What are you guys' favorite movies? I know last night Major League was on here. I was watching that, and just watching Bob Uecker cracks me up all the time. To be able to do that. Just a little outside. What Ryan, when you're at home, what do you like to be able to sit back, kick back, and watch when you're relaxing?
I'm a big comedy
when you're
guy.
not building chicken coops.
I'm not building chicken coops. I'm watching videos about how to build a chicken coop. No, I'm a big comedy guy, so there hasn't been a ton out lately, but I watched like Wedding Crashers, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Those kind of movies. But, to tell you the honest truth, I watch more Disney movies than you can even imagine. I have 4 young kids, so it's that's my main pastime.
Yeah. Chris, what about you? What's your go-to movie? You get you're home alone. Tia's got the kids, the dogs, everything like that. You get a chance to sit back, put on a flick. What's your favorite go-to?
I mean, generally I would throw on something comedy as well. You know, some of my favorites are older Jim Carrey movies. I thought he was hilarious, especially in the prime.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the Ace Ventura's, Dumb and Dumbers, Me, Myself, and Irene, one of my favorites. I mean, it's pretty much comedy. I mean, a couple weeks ago, I watched all the Avengers again. I'm a fan of those.
Nice.
I definitely recycle Kevin Hart stand up quite a bit.
Yeah. Charleston, what
he
about
gets
you?
me going.
Those are unreal.
Yeah. Charleston, what about you? What's your favorite flick other than the European Netflix shows you're watching right now?
I don't watch TV. I train all day.
Well,
I like
yeah,
that.
I've seen you train with the 12-ounce curls, so trust me. Yeah.
I train all day. So Ryan, since you've been in the States so long, are you Americanized?
Yes. Basically. I can't not admit it. It's you know what, being down here in Southern California is a different kind of Americanized too. I come back up home, it's like +10 out, and I think it's freezing cold. I'm so soft when it comes to the weather now. It's crazy.
Yeah, see, I find the same thing happens to me from being up here so long in Canada. Now nobody thinks I'm American anymore. Everybody thinks I'm Canadian. It's just like, well, I don't have my citizenship. I didn't give up my residency, so I'm technically still American, but it's just because I've been in Canada so long. I haven't adopted the A's and all that yet, though.
No, you'll get there. Don't worry.
It's a matter of time. Just keep coming.
What's the one thing, Ryan, then you miss the most about Canada? We were just talking about beer earlier on. What's the thing that you miss the most about Canada?
Well, family and friends first and foremost. It's it's tough. Like I said, we have a really tight group of buddies, and obviously my brother and my mom both live in Regina still, and so I miss being around that kind of dynamic, that friendship, which is almost an extended family with our buddies. And but yeah, I miss the beer. Tell you the truth. It's
what's your beer of choice?
Back home.
When you come back here?
I'm a big kokanee guy, so it's
there's your Labatt's plug for the day. Here we go and doing that.
Yeah.
Chips,
yeah,
you miss
chips. Yes, I do love chips. That's true.
Chips.
I have a soft spot for chips. That's for sure. and it's right around my stomach.
Oh, shoot.
We usually kind of round off the show with well, for me anyway, before I let Charleston unleash all his questions. Just the last question for me is that one of the questions I asked you guys is about your buddies. I asked Charleston this question. I said, Better With Age webcast is going to send you guys to Vegas. You got all expenses paid, everything like that. You got a choice.
That's nice of you.
Yeah, we're trying to aim high.
Nailed it.
You have a choice to bring up 3 guys and why. And initially I told Charleston this, and I said 3 teammates, and Charleston goes, Brendan Smith, The Undertaker, and Eddie Belfour. So I'll open it up and I'll say the same thing to you guys. Any 3 guys. Chris, start with you first. Who are the 3 guys you're taking on the Better With Age webcast trip to Vegas, and why?
Wow. Oh, yeah. So we're just going to get me in trouble with at least probably
this could be
a handful of people.
Yeah,
so we've already, so Ryan and I are already going, right? So we're not choosing each other as one of those?
Sure, you can pick your brothers, or you can, it's whatever. It's up to you.
Okay, obviously I'm gonna choose Ryan. Okay.
Okay.
That was a safeguard.
That's what I was asking. I mean, he should have said that we were already both going. Then I would have had to choose 3. Probably my friend Claude, my friend Nathan, and my friend Danny.
3 local
along
boys?
With Ryan. I'm assuming Ryan's coming.
Yeah, okay. 3 local boys. They sound like good guys to go out and party with and enjoy the nightlife. Yeah,
I mean, just buddies, buddies that you like spending time with, and whatever that is, then you do it. So
I'm gonna listen for those names in the
Regina
streets.
Probably get some slack for leaving a couple guys off that list, but when you can only pick 3,
hear a few of them.
Okay, Ryan, you're up. 3 guys plus your brother. Your brother's an automatic. He's going.
I'm gonna take Perry for one. Former teammate of mine, one of my best friends throughout this whole thing. And you will not meet a guy that's gonna give you more stories than that guy. So he's gonna make the rest of us enjoy our time. That's for sure. And then I'd take Claude. He's our good buddy. He lived with us and stuff at home for a long time.
Yeah.
He got two mentions.
Yeah. He's not. You'd think he was a better guy, but you know what? He's
we got to meet him. We got to go get him.
He's like a brother to us. He lived at our house with my mom and my brother when I was gone, and he's like our brother. So he would definitely come with us, and I'd probably bring Justin Schuba, our another good buddy from Regina that's grew up with us, and we've gotten closer over the years, and also a good time. But either way, we're gonna have a nice time. I'll tell you that.
Well, you're welcome. There you go. That's one of the goals we can probably be able to do. We got to go and meet these guys, Charleston. We got to go with Getzlaf.
I know, man. I know. I want to meet this Clove guy. He got two mentions, man. Something going on. He's not getting left behind no matter what.
I think he'd be a better guy. He goes.
We gotta arrange.
He's a ride or die. He's a ride or die. He wouldn't leave us behind either. So.
Let's arrange to go meet at Vic's next week, and then we'll set up the beers and we'll let it flow. So we'll do that.
Well,
he'll be there as long as you're buying.
Yeah, and when you guys get us our tickets for Vegas or whatever, you're gonna have to meet them, right? So
exactly.
Guaranteed. We got to come as chaperones.
We're working on that right now. So all right, now this is the chance. I leave it up to you guys. You guys have any questions for Charleston? Charleston, you want to ask the boys?
Yeah, you know what? I just wanted to say thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for coming on this podcast, man. It's actually been awesome having you two, the brotherly love that you two share for each other and knowing all the information about each other. Chris, I do respect your game as a player, man. You were an awesome receiver. I think the one thing I used to hear from all of our DBs crying all the time is because you weren't the fastest guy, but it's hard when you make people play to your speed. It was like the biggest thing that I've heard from all DBs, because I don't know if
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody ever commented on your running form though.
Oh, my form?
Yeah.
Of course, because it's super unorthodox.
Yeah, that was like the biggest complaint I heard from all the DBs. Like, man, he just runs so awkward, but he's smooth in and out of his routes and his breaks. But it's just the running for him throw you off, and you don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, well, I love it. I mean, DBs are taught to watch your hips, and I mean, well, for whatever reason, I just had the ability to run and face my hips one way and go another, and that helped with my route running. Because you're right, yeah, I definitely wasn't the fastest guy by any stretch, but I relied on a little bit of deception and mostly knowledge of the game to help get open.
That's our family motto, B. We're not that fast. I like to bring the game down to my speed too. Trust me.
Oh man, yeah. So you just bodying people on the ice. Thanks, Ryan, for being on the show, man. I know you out there. You're way bigger than what I thought you were. I thought you were a little scrawny hockey player like Goudreau and Eberle and all these guys who are super tiny, super small. So you probably could transfer over to football easily with your size and height.
I don't know about easily. I've seen you guys run. I'm not exactly the fastest guy around, but I enjoy football tremendously. I played growing up with Chris too, and it's what a great sport. And what is your training looking like right now? Are you guys back in the gym at the field yet or no?
No, we don't go back until Monday. So we're just they're just opening our gym back up Monday with a bunch of crazy restrictions, like 4 people at a time. Only 2 times to go work out. And it's been crazy. So the only thing I've really been doing during COVID to stay in shape is running stairs in my building. Been running a mile pretty much every day. So I figure as long as I can drop that mile time, I'm getting in shape. Running hills. I've been trying to get creative as all hell trying to stay in shape.
But here's my gym.
No, man.
That's not even
there it is. I'm sitting in my gym right now.
Yeah.
Same with me. I got the beer fridge right by mine. So
yeah.
So what about you, Chris? You still working out? You still training? I know I always told myself if I ever stop playing football, I'm never lifting another weight again.
Well, I mean, you pretty much nailed my life. That's for sure. So, I mean, it's you know what? It's one of those things where even in December, so the December of my last year, like I thought that I was pretty sure that I was going to retire, but I hadn't made it official or anything. And I was going to the rider gym. So in December, I would always work out just a few days a week. Like I really didn't take a lot of time off in off seasons. So in December, I was going in a few times a week. And then J.O. called me into his office and he was like, you know, I just want to let you know, like, we're not going to be renewing your contract, which I already knew. But once he officially told me, like, that was it. Like, no more weights.
Yeah.
I just stopped lifting, period. And I'm like, I knew that for sure I was going to retire. And I'm like, well, I'll take some time off. Like, I've literally worked out for 16 years plus straight. So I'm like, I'm just going to take some time off. And then next thing you know, 2.5 years later, you're just sitting there and you're just way out of shape.
Yeah.
You know what, B, you've earned it, bud. That's my motto when I retire. I've earned this right to have a little tire around the summit.
Yeah, those like the privileges of retiring right there. You just take time off and just relax, just chill.
Yeah.
I've always told myself the same thing. The minute I retire is the minute I stop working out.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be difficult for you because that's all you do.
I know, man. I do it 24/7. Yeah, just
That's
train.
right.
That's
24/7.
it. I almost just got off right now and just started doing push-ups.
Yeah.
You're going to have to start watching movies.
Yeah. So what about you, Ryan, with all this Black Lives Matter stuff, all this looting that's going on in Southern California? I got some friends that's in Long Beach, California, and they're like ripping cities apart, tearing cities apart. I had a friend who just told me he just paid $125 for 2 pair of Bose headphones.
Oh,
So
yeah. It's you know what a horrific thing to watch on TV, and you know, for what the actual meaning is and stuff. The police brutality and stuff is completely unethical, and the way they've been dealing with things hasn't been proper. There's, you know, the hard part is I turn on the news every morning and you see all this stuff going on, and they only want to focus on that stuff. There's so many peaceful protests going on that are doing it properly to get their message across, and to understand what the actual issue is, and not take away from it with the looting and the crime that's going on. And you know, I remember the one morning I watched the news and there was a whole segment on just the peaceful protests and people doing things the way they should have been done. And it was great to see some of the police officers and stuff too that are on board with it. You know, they're not all bad people. They're not all against it. It's just that, you know, when you focus on certain aspects, it's tough to really watch that. And hopefully people have got through that system and are doing it the peaceful way now. It seems like New York City was a lot better yesterday, and there's great marches that can really bring people together instead of tearing things apart. So that was good to see. It's obviously we need change in society, and that's pretty clear. How we go about it is the way that we're responsible for, and how we get that message out there. So it's going to be an interesting time in the world right now, and I think it's really going to improve us going forward as humans and all living together.
Yeah, you would think at a time like this, just because, you know, this pandemic's been going on, but all the COVID, all the pandemic stuff got pushed to the side, and now there's a bigger problem. There's a bigger topic that's going on right now, and no one cares about COVID anymore, although it's still active. But now they're like, I'll catch COVID just to come together, you know, in a group to represent something that's for a bigger cause.
Yeah, it's crazy
on COVID.
Today was the first morning. Today was the first morning on the news that I've heard anything about COVID in a week and a half. And you know, hopefully this whole system doesn't, you know, bring another uproar of COVID. But I think we have to be prepared for that as well. But you know, some things are bigger than us, and this is one of them where we need systemic change in the world. And you know, people that are going about it the right way, I praise them tremendously for standing up for what they believe in, and hopefully, like you said, we can bring some change out of this.
And I think one of the things that even us here in Regina, we have to acknowledge that there are issues here. Even in Regina, we had a gentleman on the show, Christian Mabanza, who had an incident where he was an African American that got accused of breaking into his own car and that happened here in Regina to be able to do that. So we're not we're at fault just as much as anybody else around the world, and we need to be able to be educated, and we need to be better. So really, it's a crazy time. So, but we will, I believe we will get better, and it all starts right here in our own background of Regina, Saskatchewan. And so we appreciate it, boys, for coming on the show. Charleston, anything else you wanted to add?
I only got one other thing to add, fellas. I know both of you guys are around my age. Both of you make me feel young because I'm older than both of you guys, but it is what it is in the end. But this is the Better with Age webcast, and the reason why we call it Better with Age because there's many things that get better with age. There's wine, there's cheese, there's leather, whiskey, a bunch of things. There's Ryan Getzlaf, Chris Getzlaf, Charleston Hughes, Johan. But the most important thing of them all that gets better with age is friendships. I'm glad to meet you, Ryan. Chris, I'm glad to call you one of my football buddies. Thanks for coming on the show. And have a blessed COVID, Black Lives Matter, all that great stuff.
All right, boys, on
Thanks
that
a bunch,
note,
Charles. I appreciate that.
We'll drop off some beer for you, Chris, and Ryan, you're going to have to wait to drink it at his place. So
I will. I'll definitely. Thanks, boys. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, boys, for coming on.
Yeah, thanks a lot.